Listen closely. What if everything you believe about the greatest of all time is incomplete and the real answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Think about it for a second. When you say GOAT, what are you actually measuring? Rings, stats, moments, or just what you've personally seen? Be honest with yourself right now. Who's your GOAT and why? Say the name in your head, or better yet, share it with someone near you and defend it. Because here's the truth, this debate isn't just about basketball. It's about perspective, memory, and emotion. And if you've ever argued about Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe, then you already know how intense it can get. So let me ask you, are you ready to challenge your own opinion and actually listen to a different side? Or are you locked in for good? Stay with me, because what we're about to unpack might change how you see greatness forever. Now imagine this two legends from different eras, both unstoppable in their own time, but they never faced each other. Doesn't that already make the GOAT debate a little unfair? Think about it. Michael Jordan never played Oscar Robertson. He never battled Jerry West in his prime, so how do we really compare them? Ask yourself, have you ever compared two players you never actually watched live? And if you did, where did your opinion come from? Highlights, stats, or someone else's narrative? That matters more than you think. Because when we compare eras, we're not just comparing players, we're comparing contexts, rules, pressure, and culture. So let me ask you directly, do you think it's fair to judge players without fully understanding their time? Talk about it with someone, or even challenge your own thinking right now. And hold that thought, because this gap between eras is exactly where the debate gets deeper. Here's something most people overlook. The beauty of basketball isn't just in competition, it's in evolution. Every generation builds on the last. Without Oscar Robertson, there's no blueprint for Jordan. Without Jordan, there's no Kobe. Without Kobe, there's no LeBron as we know him. So let me ask you, have you ever stopped to appreciate the chain instead of just picking the top name? Think about your favorite player, who inspired them. Who did they study? Because greatness doesn't exist in isolation. It grows, it adapts, it learns. And yet, here's the problem. Why do we sometimes use that evolution against the very players who created it? Why do we say this player is better because the game is more advanced without acknowledging who made it advance? Be real. Have you ever done that yourself? If you have, you're not alone. But this is where the conversation shifts and where respect starts to matter more than comparison. Let's get real for a moment. When you hear players like Michael Jordan talk about the GOAT debate, you'll notice something interesting. He doesn't chase the title. He doesn't argue for it. Why do you think that is? Ask yourself, if you truly knew how great you were, would you feel the need to prove it to everyone? That's a serious question, because confidence at that level doesn't need validation. And maybe that's why he focuses more on competition than comparison. He wanted to play against the best, not argue about being the best. So let me ask you, would you rather be known as the greatest or remembered as someone who pushed the game forward? Think about your answer carefully, because that mindset alone might separate legends from icons. And what comes next will show you exactly why that distinction matters more than you think. Picture this: you're in a locker room preparing to face Michael Jordan. Not just a scorer, not just a star, but someone who can dominate both ends of the floor. Now ask yourself, how do you even game plan against that? Do you stop his offense or avoid his defense? Teams literally adjusted their plays based on where he stood on the court. Let that sink in. So here's the question, have you ever seen a player who could control the game without even touching the ball? That's impact, that's presence, and it's rare. Because most players excel in one area, maybe two. But to be a lead on offense and defense at the same time, that's different. So I want you to think who today has that same level of two-way dominance. Say a name, debate it with someone. Because this idea of being complete is at the core of the GOAT conversation, and we're just getting started. Let's talk about something deeper: fundamentals versus raw talent. A lot of athletes rely on speed, strength, and jumping ability. But what happens when that fades? Ask yourself, have you ever seen a player who looked unstoppable physically, but struggled when the game slowed down? That's where fundamentals come in. Footwork, positioning, timing, those things don't age the same way athleticism does, and Jordan mastered them. So here's the question, do you value skill or athleticism more when judging greatness? Be honest, because this choice shapes your entire opinion. And if you've ever played any sport, You know exactly how important technique really is. So think about it, would you rather have raw ability or complete control of your craft? Your answer might reveal more about your understanding of the game than you realize. And we haven't even touched on the most defining trait yet. Now let me hit you with this, what does it really mean to be a closer? Not just scoring points, but finishing games when everything is on the line. Game tied, seconds left, pressure at its peak, who do you trust? Say the name right now, because this is where legends separate themselves. Jordan didn't just play the game, he ended it. Championships, finals MVPs, buzzer beaters, he delivered when it mattered most. So ask yourself, how much weight do you give to clutch moments when deciding the GOAT? Because some players shine early, others dominate late, and closing isn't just about skill, it's about mindset. So think back, what's the most clutch moment you've ever seen? Share it with someone, relive it, because those moments define how we remember greatness. And there's still another layer to this that most people ignore. Here's where things get uncomfortable: respect across generations. Do today's players truly honor those who came before them, or is it just surface-level acknowledgement? Be honest, have you ever felt like newer players downplay the past? Or maybe you've seen older players criticize the present. Why does that tension exist? Because respect isn't just about words, it's about understanding and appreciation. So let me ask you, do you think we give enough credit to the pioneers of the game? Or do we move on too quickly? Think about your own behavior as a fan, because this isn't just about players, it's about us too. And if we don't value the past properly, how can we fully understand the present? Sit with that for a moment. Because what comes next might change how you view every highlight you've ever watched. Let's shift to context, because stats alone don't tell the full story. A 40-point game means something different depending on when and how it happened. Pressure, expectations, narratives, they all matter. So here's the question, do you consider context when judging greatness, or do you just look at numbers? Be real, because someone who lived through a moment experiences it differently than someone who watches it later. Think about iconic performances: Jordan's flu game, LeBron's playoff dominance, Kobe's scoring runs. Each one had a story behind it. So ask yourself, can you truly compare moments without understanding their circumstances? That's the challenge. And if you've ever debated with someone from a different generation, you know exactly how this plays out. So talk about it, argue it, question it, because this is where opinions start to shift. Now think about this, what if being in the GOAT conversation is already the ultimate achievement? Not winning it, not proving it, just being part of it? How many players even reach that level? Very few. So why do some people take it as an insult instead of a compliment? Ask yourself, if your name was mentioned among the greatest ever, how would you feel? Proud or pressured? Because perspective changes everything. And maybe the problem isn't the debate itself, but how we interpret it. So let me ask you, do you celebrate greatness, or do you feel the need to rank it? There's a difference. And understanding that difference might change how you engage in every sports conversation moving forward. But we're not done yet, because there's one final comparison that puts everything into perspective. Think about music. Who's the greatest rapper of all time? Everyone has an answer, right? But people from different eras will never fully agree. Why? Because they lived different experiences. The same applies to basketball. So here's the question, are you judging based on what you lived through or what you've been told? Be honest, because that shapes everything. And when you combine skill, impact, leadership, and legacy, you start to see why so many people still say Michael Jordan is the most complete player they've ever seen. But here's the real question, does your GOAT choice say more about the player or about you? Think about that deeply. And before you walk away from this, I want you to do one thing, have the conversation. Debate it, challenge it, defend it, because the answer isn't just out there, it's inside how you see the game. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks be to God.
Johnson outside. Uses the pass that time. It's good.